Guys, what's going on? It's DiamondTrail Ranch, back at you with another homestead talk today with the animals. We're going to talk about something that I think a lot of people are interested in right now, especially in 2026, and that is how to maximize a smaller homestead property. Now, when people think homestead, a lot of times they picture hundreds of acres, giant barns, massive pastures, tractors everywhere, a huge cattle operation, right? But the reality is, most modern homesteaders are working with smaller properties. They really are. A lot of them, half an acre, a backyard. A lot of people are literally just working with their backyard. And I love to say, personally, it's how you use the land. It's not how much you have, right? Some, 1, 2 acres, maybe 3 acres. Honestly, the more you have, it starts to get kind of overwhelming. I think a lot of people underestimate really just how much you can actually do with a smaller piece of land if you plan things correctly. Now for us here at DiamondTrail Ranch, we're on right around 2 acres in Central Florida. And over time, we've slowly learned how to make this property work for us instead of against us, right? And trust me, we've learned some lessons the hard way, honestly. I mean, we have. Because when you start adding animals, gardens, fruit trees, fencing, feed storage, it's water systems, shade structures, pathways, what else? Compost areas come to mind. All of the other things that comes with homesteading, your space is going to disappear real quick, and so is your time. Really, I mean, you're going to be like, wow. Especially once you realize animals don't really care about your landscape plans. They don't care. Okay. They just destroy everything equally, right? Especially goats. You guys have goats chewing on everything. You don't need 50 acres, guys. You do not need a giant farm to start improving your life. I want to say something important. Social media has created a weird expectation around homesteading. Guys, you can do it in your backyard, okay? You really can. Some of the most productive homesteaders I've ever seen are working with tiny spaces because they've learned how to maximize efficiency. And even with that tiny space, you can go up. If you're really working with just a backyard, you can build up, okay? That's what this video is about today, the maximizing efficiency, not fake perfection, okay? Not pretending we know everything, because we don't. Guys, I'm just sharing what has worked for us here on our little 2-acre Florida homestead, okay? One of the first things we learned really quickly is that every square foot matters. I mean, really. You can't, I think one of the mistakes with that, they try to do everything all at once without a plan. You start adding random animals, okay? You put fencing wherever it fits. You plant trees without thinking about future shade, or maybe the root competition, right? You build your structures without, considering draining. That's big too, right? And suddenly the property feels crowded and chaotic. These are our milkers. They're goofing off right now. These lovely ladies. Honestly, ours feels chaotic a lot of times, as you can see with our milkers, right? Over time, we started understanding that every part of the property really just needs a purpose. I love that about homesteading. Make it have a purpose. Companion animals are cute and all, but make it have a purpose, okay? Ducks are one of the biggest parts of this homestead. And if you guys have ducks already, they're messy little creatures. They're loud. Boy, are female ducks loud. And they are messy. They're the messiest animals I think we have. The duck pen is messier than everything. It really is. They're chaotic. Honestly, I would say ducks, I think, are easily one of the best homestead animals, in my opinion, because they provide entertainment, eggs, fertilizer, pest control, content for YouTube, right? I love to go in there and take the duck water, the bottom of it, and just scoop it out and dump it on our banana trees and our elderberries and things like that. Ducks are just such a huge part of what we do here, and we've had to structure areas specifically around their needs. Your water systems obviously matter, your drainage matters, your shade matters, as the sun just came out. Good timing on that, huh? We are in a serious drought here in Florida. I'm hoping we get some rain. Redundancy really matters. Have multiple water systems. have multiple water areas filled more than one, have backups on everything, backup food. Something I talk about a lot lately is redundancy. Those backup systems, extra feed bins, make sure you have backup fencing supplies. You're gonna walk out and something might be dead, or a fence might be knocked over, or who knows. Especially in Florida and 10A heat in general, man. Heat destroys everything. Sun destroys everything, and if you do manage to get rain, well, rain destroys everything too, right? And if you wait until there's an emergency to figure things out, it's gonna get stressful real fast. One thing we also learned is that rotational usage of land does matter a lot. Our goats help us tremendously with vegetation control in the backyard. Instead of constantly fighting weeds ourselves, we can strategically use our animals. The chickens free range, the ducks free range, they all help maintain sections of the property. It's big. Obviously goats come with their own problems too, though. They can be tiny escape artists. Ours, and they're like demolition crews. It seems like every day one or two of the goats is out. What do we have now? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. There are like 14 goats right now, I think. And one or two of them are out every day. And it's like, girl, how did you do that? Because the boys don't ever get out. I'm like, well, how in the world did they get out? They're escape artists. If there's a weak spot in the fencing, they will find it. If there's something expensive nearby, guys, they're gonna chew it. I'm sorry. Put it away, man. They are incredible, useful animals on smaller homesteads, especially if you don't want every inch of your property turning into jungle mode. Although right now I could honestly go for some jungle mode. We could use it. One thing we try to do here is stack functions whenever possible. What do I mean by that? One thing serves multiple purposes. Like I said about the ducks, okay? They provide those eggs. They give that fertilizer. You want to go out and get away from the TV, they provide that entertainment. You don't need to watch the news. Go out and watch your ducks, man. They don't care about what's going on overseas, you know what I'm saying? Fuel prices, what do they say right now? I just saw 70% of farmers are not producing. It's crazy right now. Fertilizer, there's a fertilizer shortage. I mean, go in your backyard, just unwind. Get away from the media, get away from the fear that you see out there. Just one of the many things ducks do. The egg, the entertainment. Oh, and pest control. I forgot about that. They are so good at pest control. Chickens too. Of course, your fruit trees, which are getting fed by your ducks, right? They're providing you food. We have loquats, elderberries, oranges, lemons, various berries, passion fruit, things like that. They provide the privacy. I'm working on getting our banana trees lined up on the fence, which will be awesome because they're going to provide nice privacy. Pollinator support. I love me some bees, pollinators. Not a big fan of wasps, but that's all right. They pollinate too. Flies, believe it or not, pollinate. I don't know if you guys knew that. Mulberries especially are incredible for that. Fast growing. They're productive. They're easy to propagate. Hi, Arnold. Here comes little boy. Hi, Arnold. Hi, big. Hi, cutie. Oh, who's a cutie? Fruit trees are obviously good for animals, good for wildlife. Vetiver grass, I swear by vetiver, if you guys can get a hold of that, actually shoot me a message on Facebook. I can get you some vetiver grass. We have lots of it. If you don't have any of it, I love to cut up the clippings of that and feed it to our animals. Mulberries is one of the most underrated homestead trees there is. It really is. Once we start understanding stacking functions, maximizing 2 acres, it just becomes easy. Now, are you going to have food 7 days a week? No, you're probably not you're probably not eliminating the trip to the grocery store. That's not realistic. But you're helping alleviate the symptoms thereof. The crazy scares like the toilet paper scare and things like that. You cannot have to be around that mess. Suddenly the property just starts to work together as a cohesive unit, you know what I mean? And like the military says, instead of just feeling disconnected and crazy. Another thing that matters tremendously is vertical space. Like I mentioned earlier, go up. If you don't have a lot of room, go up. Honestly, people forget that. Fences can grow. Passion fruit, tomatoes, cucumbers, plant that stuff along a fence line. Seriously, we do it here. Trellises, our fences can be trellises. Trellises can grow food, edges can grow food, containers. You don't need giant open fields. Some of our best growing experiments started in containers. You can literally start with pots, grow bags, buckets, raised beds. You don't need perfection, because you just need to start. That's the bottom line. Another thing, animals do need separation on those 2 acres though, especially your bucks. You guys know we keep Bucky and Hershey separated because mature goat bucks together can become a serious issue. And this is where planning really matters on smaller acreage. Because once you add breeding animals, suddenly fencing layout really becomes critically important. Then you really, at that point, you're considering your pathways, your gates, your feeding access, your cleaning routines, your shade, rotation. It all kind of, it sounds like a headache, but I'm telling you, make it a routine, and it'll really help get you disconnected from the mess in the world. It's nice, it's quiet. I say it's quiet as one of the hens is laying an egg right now. I'd rather hear that though than some fear monger though, you know what I mean? You sit around out here thinking, how are we fitting all this on 2 acres? A lot of people think that way, especially when they visit. I'm telling you, it works, okay? It's doable. Water systems can make or break, obviously, especially in this Florida heat. I'm telling you right now, as Dolly drinks her water, animals drink an unbelievable amount of water here during the summer. And if you're not planning water access correctly, your daily workload just became crazy exhausting. Guys, water. Water multiple times a day. Get up early, water. Before you lay down, water. Fill those waters up. Bucky here, he needs water. Bambi, she needs water. Hera, Dixie, Dolly, guys, they all need water. Get them extra hoses. Redundancy. I'm telling you, extra waters, backup systems. Eventually something's going to leak. Something cracks. Something clogs. Oh, look at these little girls. Hey, there's a couple of roosters in there. I know it. Oh boy, you getting beat up, aren't you? Man, that girl is looking rough. Anyway, it's the reality of it. One thing, before we do take off, I think social media pushes this weird pressure that if you homestead, you suddenly need cows, pigs, chickens, orchard, giant gardens. Boy, you are yucky. You were playing in the pool over there, man. Not our swimming pool, but the drinking water pool for them. You don't have to can right away. You don't need your food forest right away. Bees will come. They will. You don't need a bunch of tractors. Oh, he's laying down over here now. He's such a cutie. You don't need it all immediately, but over time, that stuff it'll get there. Homesteading is not just about productivity. It's about sustainability, and I don't just mean environmental sustainability. I'm talking about your sustainability, your energy, your finances, your family life, your mental health. Because if your homestead overwhelms you constantly, guys, you're just going to stop doing it. Problem is the animals won't stop. The food won't stop, okay? It needs you. It's mentioned in the Bible, guys. Tend that garden. Tend those animals, okay? It's in Genesis, book of Genesis. You start asking, you got to think differently. How can this area serve multiple purposes, unless on 2 acres or less, or a quarter acre? Honestly, that's when creativity becomes one of the most enjoyable parts of homesteading. And you'll see it when your fruit trees mature, your animals settle in. Like Arnold here, we haven't had him long, and he's like a little dog. He's so awesome. Your systems will start to improve. Suddenly those 2 acres start to feel surprisingly productive. We're not perfect, guys. Things break constantly. There's weeds, there's mud, we got to move stuff like that. Dilapidated old coop right there. Waters get dumped every day and refilled, topped off, things of that nature. There's chaos, but there's peace. There's peace in that chaos, okay? There's something common about feeding animals every day, They're consumers too, and help them, It's amazing. I embrace that, homestead life, guys. Especially in 2026 when everybody seems stressed constantly. Honestly, I think that's why more people are becoming interested in homesteading right now. And it's not because they want perfection. He always comes over and rubs on my leg. He's funny. You're a little cutie pie. Start where you are, guys. We're wrapping it up. Use what you have. Learn slowly. I know I've been kind of on a tangent here, but because I'm trying to, you guys got to understand, you really can do this. A lot of you might be thinking you need to move to Tennessee and get 50 acres. It's not the case. Work with what you have. Your skills are going to compound over time. Start with 1 tomato. You'll see when that tomato grows, your confidence is going to grow with it. Your knowledge is going to compound over time. 2 acres is going to do so much more than most people think. Look at us, man. Watch our videos. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for hanging out here at DiamondTrail Ranch. And if you enjoyed, let me know. Preparedness, ducks, goats, chickens, fruit trees, honest reviews on products we use. You know, family set of content. Make sure to subscribe and join us throughout this journey. God bless.